This is Mr. Martin. These are video notes for geometry, section 6.2. This is going to be our last type of transformation. We're going to talk about rotations today. So a little flashback here. What's a rotation? A turn of an object about some given point. Okay, so for us usually it's going to be the origin. It can be other points, but we're mostly going to be concerned with rotations around the origin. Now remember, we did something similar when we were talking about a single figure and we were rotating it around its center. This is similar, but again different. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you have some patty paper, and then what you want to do, I'll go through these directions briefly with you, and then why don't you pause the video and give this a go, and then you could restart, and I'll put in the solutions here so you can see. But you're going to want to plot the points. So we've got 3 points. We're going to make a triangle on the grid over here. Then you're going to place your patty paper on top of the grid, trace the triangle, and label the points A, B, and C. And then make sure that you trace the axis in the x-axis in one color and the y-axis in a different color. If you don't have different colors, just make sure that you label them the x and y-axis. So this is going to be our x-axis. This will be our y-axis. Make sure you label those on your patty paper. And then what I want you to do is turn your patty paper 180 degrees counterclockwise. Remember, counterclockwise is the opposite way that the clock goes. Okay, then you're going to record the new coordinates of your triangle in the table, and you're going to try and come up with, in part D, the second part here, what do you notice about the coordinates of the original and the new triangle? So again, if you don't have patty paper, make sure you get a piece, and then pause the video and go ahead and give these couple of steps a try and see what you can get. Make sure if you have any questions while you're doing that, you get some help. Okay, hopefully after you tried this activity in your notes, you have something like this. So the blue triangle here is the original triangle ABC. And then when you spin your triangle 180 degrees and retrace it, you should have it in the position where I have the red triangle, A prime, B prime, C prime. And then if you find the coordinates of these 3 points, you should have -2, -1 for A prime, -6, -1 for B prime, and -4, -5 for C prime. So then what do you notice about the coordinates of the original and the new triangle? Well, the x and y coordinates change to the opposite. So if you said they changed to negatives, that would be okay, but I've mentioned this several times before. I like to use the word opposite because if the original, any of the original coordinates were negative, now they would be positive. They would be the opposite. So since all the original coordinates were positive, all the new coordinates for the child triangle, the image, are negative. Okay, so let's get in the habit of using that word opposite as well. Okay, so what we just did there is our 180 degree rotation. And that's mostly what we're going to be concentrating for our class. Rotations of 180 degrees about the origin. So our rule, we take all our original XY values. Remember, if you don't include this first part here, when I ask for a rule and symbols, then you're not going to get full credit because this is a required part of the math of transformations. Okay? So all the original x values change to the opposite, so opposite of x, and all the original y's change to the opposite of y. All right, so let's take a look at one quick example, and then I'm going to set you off to finish the other examples and to recap it. And that way you'll have plenty of time to work on this and get help. So let's take a look at part A. we want to graph the following image using the given transformation. So rotation 180 degrees about the origin. And we have these two tables here for us for the points S, X, and K from the original figure, the parent. And then we have for the coordinates of the image or the child, S prime, X prime, and K prime. So again, when you write coordinates, you have to have parentheses. Mathematically, it's not correct if you don't have the parentheses. So make sure that you have those. So for S, we're going to have -4, 3. And then X is going to be -3, 1. And K is going to be 0, 5. So now if we apply our rule where all of these change to the opposite, for S prime, we're going to have 4, because it was negative, so now it's positive. And then -3, because the 3 was positive, now it's negative. Then we'll have 3, -1, and 0, and -5. So we'll go ahead and graph these 3 points. So I have 4, -3, and we'll label that S prime. 3, -1, X prime, and 0, -5 is K prime, and then I'll connect these. And here we have the image. Okay, pre-image, just a little review of the vocabulary or parent. And then we have the image for child. All right. So go ahead and try the rest of these. You'll notice in A and B they wrote out the rule that they want you to follow in words, and then in C and D they write out the rule in symbol form. So make sure you know the difference so you know how to answer questions on a quiz or a test. And then just a little heads up here for the recap it, these rules are not just for rotations. Okay, we've got some other types of rules here, so if you have to go back into your notes or if you have to draw little examples to see what's going on, make sure you do that. As always, get all your questions answered, and we will see you in the next one.